Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Her Voice Podcast. I am so excited for this week's episode. It is a Galentine's Day episode, and of course, it is very fitting because we are holding a Galentine's movie night on the 15th of February. So please come along to that event. It is going to be a fun time. As usual, hi, my name is Angela. I'm your podcast coordinator. Girls, go introduce yourselves.
My name's Amy Phillips, and I'm really excited for this week's episode. This is going to be a great one.
And then I'm Hannah, and I'm back again to annoy everyone.
So we get stuck into our articles this week. They're all going to pertain to Galentines and, just being your best self. And this week, I spontaneously actually wrote this. I didn't get an article this week, but I was writing about, just for myself, my stream of consciousness, how to become your highest self. And I was trying to kind of give myself a little pep talk as I was journaling. And then somehow I ended up fixing it up and sending it to Alice, and it got published somehow. And my article is all about kind of looking within. And I just talk about things like acknowledging your own toxic traits, because that's really important. And just not caring about what other people think. And of course, meditating, journaling, I've been really getting into that. And at the end of the day, you are the only person that you need to please. And you are the baddest bleep of them all. That's all I'm going to say.
That's so true. My articles that I chose as well, kind of the same. I wrote an article a few months ago about self-care books and the recommendations that I have. And I think recently, over the second lockdown in particular, around Christmas time, I found it was so difficult to kind of try and put myself first. Mm-hmm. So even though I am in a relationship, and I'm sure so many people are in relationships, but a lot of people aren't, it's so important around Valentine's Day, put yourself first and put your friends first as well. It's not all just about love with a partner. Mm-hmm. Valentine's Day is all about love, but that could be with yourself, that could be with your friends, that could be with your family. And I think that's all so important. And as well, then Michelle wrote one article this week about the 10 Valentine's movies to watch this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I think that is such a good idea for this Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day. Whether you're with someone by yourself, watch those movies because they're all classics and they're all unreal. So I'll be watching them anyway.
My article that went up this week is very fitting. It was a Galentine's gift guide for this year and a kind of DIY budget version. So one of the examples I gave for Galentine's was just to send cards, because that's something I've always done, honestly, for the past since leaving school, when your friends are kind of getting into more serious relationships than boys you meet in school. And they're as easy as, now this year I bought them from an Irish business called HerVoice Studios on Instagram. They're twin sisters, but they're so good. But usually I just buy them in Deals do their own version. So literally you could go in and pay $150 and put it to your friend's letterbox or nothing, and it's just such a nice token. And especially with now, someone could send you a text and you're oh, that's nice. But when someone takes the time to write you a card, post it, go to the post office, get a stamp, all that, it's just such a nice touch to it. Or if you wanted to spend a bit more on your pals, to buy them a little hamper almost of their favorite sweets or candles, pajamas, it could be anything, because that's the thing, they're so versatile that you could literally go into Deals and spend $5 on a card and some sweets, or you could go into Penny's RIP, she was open, or anything, and buy PJs or skincare or whatever they're into. Oh, I said photos as well, because as well with lockdown, you realistically can't see your friends or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. So free prints, 45 free photos for €4 or whatever, or make a photo book, things like that, to show we actually used to be able to go out and have fun, not just have to Zoom all the time. But Amy was saying, it's really important, I think, as well, to take time and appreciation for yourself and your friends or family. Yes, it's Valentine's, but it can be as platonic or as romantic as you want it to be. And you're in the article I wrote, I said at the end, I was whether you're spending Valentine's with your fella or whoever, or by yourself, your friends are going to be the ones that are there for you at the end of the breakup or after a crap Tinder date. So you kind of just want to just appreciate them more. And why not? Especially if you're single. What else are you doing? It was better when you could go out and get locked.
Some of my friends are having this, they're doing it this Valentine's Day. Obviously, I can't get involved. I actually have a fella. Oh my God, shock. But no, my friends are doing this Zoom quiz. So one of them is making like kind of like a PowerPoint quiz. And it's going to be like rating like who is the worst guy out of everyone in our friend group, like that someone has gotten with, and like who is the best, like who is the best taste in boys, like like all this kind of stuff. And we're going to do like polls about it, and then they're going to have like a nice little cute night on Valentine's Day instead of actually, you know, wallowing in self-pity. I just thought that was a really nice idea.
That's cute though.
While I can, I'm going to plug this event as a social media officer. I will plug any event I can as often as I can. The movie night, the GALentines night, it's at 8:30 on Monday for any members, or even if you're not a member, like come along, please do. We're going to be just having the chats. It's not anything scheduled in particular. We're just going to be having the chats and then watching a big fat chick flick as you do, and just having the lols, because we can't actually just meet up for coffee. And none of the committee members have actually been able to meet up in person and talk, never mind any of the ordinary members as well. So it'd be nice to talk to everyone.
I'm pretty sure me and Amy will probably be drinking Prosecco. So that's always
yeah.
I was just going to add that one of the activities I wrote down was a PowerPoint night, because I think they are gas. Like, I love the TikTok trend.
And you can do them for anything.
Yes, you can do them for absolutely anything. Speakeasy did an event, which is another society in DCU. I think it's in December, and they were just so funny, and it's so like chill, and you can just hop on Zoom and do it. So that's a fun time.
Yeah, my friends as well. They did. We all did this thing. It was we just went on Zoom together, and we were all playing Among Us at the same time, but we were all connecting, so we were all in the same one. And like that's such an idea for GALentines. Like if you don't want to just sit and talk, or if no one is really bothered to make a quiz, like if everyone has the same game like Among Us, like get on Zoom and all play the game at the same time, or something really simple like that. But actually being able to see your friends while doing something at the same time, it just makes you feel happy, you know.
I've played Among Us as well, like while being on Zoom's friends. But you have to mute yourself, because if someone's killed you and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, Amy, it's just so we did that, and we kept having to, we'd forget to mute ourselves and being like, I don't know, we'd kill someone, be so obvious. So
yeah, won't lie, I have not got a good poker face, and I gave myself away as the killer like 3 or 4 times, because I was there like smiling and being like mischievous, and I was like, oh, look at me go, yes, I'm pretending to do tasks, and people are looking and they're like, it's obviously Amy, look at her face.
Oh, I love those quizzes as well, because there's such crack. One of the girls in college did it the other day as well, for no particular reason. She just sent it into the group chat, like, do this, and it was kind of like listed all of us. It was like who had the worst ex, or who, I don't know, was the biggest catfish, like all this kind of crack. But like, they were just so funny, and I keep texting all the time like, I need these results.
I didn't see it, but I bet you anything it was either me or NASA who won the worst ex.
Oh yeah, I voted for you for that, obviously.
Yeah, like it's a very close call. But that's the great thing about Valentine's Day, is like your friends are there for you through all that. Like yous were all there for me through that, and same with like NASA, we were there, so we get to all laugh about it now. Do you know what I mean? I spent Valentine's Day with him last year, but he's not here anymore. But the gals are still here. That's why Valentine's Day is so important.
Yeah. So I'm just like a pessimist like that with friends, that, you know, the one friend that will spend all of their time with their boyfriend or whoever.
Yes.
And that's fine. You have to see them. But when you're kind of like, when we gonna hang out? It's like, if he breaks your heart tomorrow, you'll be in my room with me patting me on the head. Like,
yeah. That's the thing. I understand, especially at the start of a relationship. I can't say anything. I do see my boyfriend. We've been together like 3 months now. I do see him an awful lot, but I'd never neglect the girls ever. That's my big thing. You don't neglect the girls ever. They've been there for you through everything. You'll be there for them through everything. You know, they should be just as important and a priority, if not more important.
Yeah, like that was when I was in, like, this is years ago, but when I was in my last relationship, I was very like, okay, so me and him are meeting up on Friday, and the girls asked me to go out. I can't go that day, but I'll go see them the next day. Like, I would always be like, we have plans this day, but I can see you that day.
It is such an important thing.
But it's hard though, obviously, because when we weren't in lockdown, obviously, and you were working or going to college, you're trying to like fit in time to go to work and college, see your friends and see your boyfriend, and like have time for yourself. So sometimes things do brush under the carpet, but I feel like if you just make up for it, if that makes sense, like always rain check it. That's what I appreciate, is like a couple of my friends being in relationships, and if I'm like, hey, even if it's like, do you want to Zoom tomorrow? And they're like, I can't, I'm doing this, or I'm seeing him, fine. But when they kind of don't try and reschedule something, and it's you asking, that's when it kind of annoys. Or if they said, look, I'm busy tonight, but we can do tomorrow, that's fine. Like, you have a life, you have other friends or boyfriends, girlfriends, that's fine. But I feel like when it's just kind of like, oh, sorry, I'm busy, and you're like,
oh, it is.
You know, we're longer together than you and him. Remember that, you know?
It's also a difficult one when, I know this is going to be a controversial one, especially when you don't like your friend's boyfriend and they cancel plans continuously to be with them. And you're like, I don't even like them. I don't even like canceling on me. But that's such a big one as well. While we're speaking on Valentines and GALentines, like your partner actually being able to get along with your friends is such a huge part of the relationship for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Like one of my best friends' boyfriends are together years, and my friend isn't really like, she goes out, but I'd be more interested in going out nights out than she would. And there'd be times like I'd be out with like college or whoever, and her boyfriend would be out with his mates, and I'd bump into them, and we'd literally be like dancing. We'd be doing shots, and I'm like sending her Snapchats, the two of us locked at 3 a.m, and she's waiting, going to bed for work and all. I have had friends with their boyfriends I'm particularly like, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, you're seeing him again, okay.
I don't want to out myself, but there was a past relationship where he was any of my friends, and I knew in the back of my head for like the whole thing. But then, of course, when like the relationship ended, they were all like, we never liked him. We just did not have it in us to tell you, because obviously that's your boyfriend. But I mean, I kind of knew it, but you just don't think about it. But now, after that relationship, I'm like, you know what? That's something I never want to happen again. I never want any of my friends to not like him and feel like they can't tell me. But I don't want them to actually have to tell me. I just want them to be able to get on with him. I think that's just such an important thing.
Absolutely, yeah. See, I'm still like pretty young, so all of my friends who have like boyfriends, they're all from like school, and I went to a mixed school, so I probably know them, and they were in like the same class. But yeah, I mean, it's also kind of hard to tell them though that you don't like him, because you don't want to like come off the wrong way, you know.
100%. That's why I'm like, I don't want to even have to put them in that position. I just want them to like him. Like, that's.
I've never, in fairness, like again, like what Angela's saying, my friends, the boyfriends they've had that I didn't like, we were younger, like we were either in school or kind of just left, so they're not like, anything serious. But I never said anything because I was like, she obviously likes him, none of my business, not my relationship. But once that they were respecting them and like treated them well, I was like, look, there's clearly something going on here behind closed doors. I'm like, she is obsessed with him for whatever reason, and it's none of my business. Whereas like, I know now that I had a friend that her boyfriend, they broke up years ago, but he was not nice, and now I'm like, throwing a fist. I'm like, ah! But me and me is like reporting him on Tinder when he comes up for no reason, just like trash. Get him.
There's actually a few instances where my ex had said things to one or two of my friends that I actually didn't know about. When they just didn't want to upset me. One thing was said when I was drunk, and I actually didn't remember it. I was really bad. But another thing was said then, and I was there, but I wasn't actually in earshot. And things were said to my friends by him that I would not have approved of, and I would have actually ripped into him for. But they didn't say it to me because they didn't want to upset me. And knowing that, I'm like, God, no, that I will never, ever, ever tolerate that again. I will I didn't even know it was happening until afterwards, but I will never tolerate that.
They clearly did it in the right mind of like benefit of the doubt, maybe like, oh, we don't particularly like him, don't like what he said to me, but he was drunk and she likes him. Whereas if that was me, I'm like a blunt. My friend calls me blunt and then a bad word that rhymes with blunt, because I am in the nicest way possible. Like I don't know, she'll do something, I'm like, don't know, like just straight out. But I've never been in that situation, but if that happens and a friend's boyfriend said to me, first of all, they wouldn't have to hear it first because I'd be tackling it myself and then be like, he is trash.
Yeah.
One of my friend's boyfriends spilled a strawberry daiquiri once on my brand new like white Converse years ago and stained them, and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, yeah, you can buy me a new pair. Like, I was like, you can buy me a new pair. I was like, you can pay for the dry cleaners or something.
Oh.
No, I was drunk. I wouldn't be that rude, but he did, in fairness. But I actually felt really bad then because they're still together and he's lovely. But I was like,
that it's things like that where it just kind of solidifies how important it is to just, I suppose, thank your friends and acknowledge how much you've been through together. And like, my friends have put up with some awful amount of stuff that I didn't even realize was going on. Certain things being said to, well, like some names were called that I didn't know about. One of my best friends being called a slag, like that kind of thing, and I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware that he had said this. So like, your friends have put up with also me moaning about certain things in the relationship. They put up with the moaning and the crying and the wine don't go right. So that's why I just think, Valentine's Day is so important. It's more important than Valentine's Day, if anything.
I absolutely agree. Because like, at the end of the day, there's such like a culture where it's like the bros, the guys, but also like the girls,
Mm-hmm. We got to stick together.
Yes.
I'm such a pessimist as well, in the sense of I'm not pretty. You ever see that meme when it's like someone's at the altar and they're saying I do, and they're like, do you still like me? Like, do you like, that's kind of like me. Whereas like, I know it's not necessarily a good thing. It's always in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, he might break up with me tomorrow, and you never know. And like, that's true. Mm-hmm. But my friends I know will always be there. Like, my first breakup, I was 14 or 15, like baba. 15-year-old boy, distraught. And my best friend was Dear Bologna, and she was doing her, I remember I texted her really upset, and she was doing like her Irish oral for a junior cert or something the next morning. And I just texted her, tell her, I'm not joking, in 20 minutes she was had her mother drive her to my house. And she'd also made her mum buy 2 pints of Ben and Jerry's at the time when they were like €7 and €8 in the shop.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't even know yet. And like, my mom was like, oh, like, she's at the door. And I was like crying in my room, like,
yeah.
So it just shows you, like, they'll be there for you like that, whereas a fella be like, okay.
I have such a similar experience. When I was 16, I was seeing a guy, and very much like gift of the gab, saying all the right things. We think we'd known each other like 2 months. We knew each other anyway, but we'd been seeing each other for like 2 months, and kind of like gift of the gab, and had me completely reeled in. Like, I was just like, this is love. This is what love is. Like my first love in my mind. Like, yeah. And then when he dropped me, I was like, it was like, I was shocked. I was so upset. And my friend, we were in school at the time, we were in 4th year, and it was a school night that had happened. And my friend basically was like, my mom said, you can come over and you can stay the night, like, just bring your uniform and we'll go straight to school in the morning. And like that, she didn't have to, like, it's a school night. Like, her mom was probably not very keen on me coming over on a school night, but like that, she was like, I don't care, this is my best friend, she's gonna stay over, like, we're gonna do some girly things, we're gonna watch a movie, we're gonna do some baking, we're gonna get all cozy. And that's what I mean, like, she had my back 100%, whether it's like a guy could just like that drop you out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's so true. I think that's why I love the idea of Valentine's Day, and I feel like it's gotten bigger in the sense of like, it is a thing now, whereas like 4 or 5 years ago, I would just send my friends kind of like punny Valentine's cards, because I was like, I love cards. Like, I literally have like 20 cards, like birthday cards, just ready to go, because I just love cards. But I would just buy them kind of like, no, I could not buy one of those cards. It's like, I love you, like my soulmate. Like, I want those funny ones. Like, my friend last year was 2 lemons, and it was like, you're my main squeeze, and I was like, love it, like that. But they love it though, and especially last Valentine's, one of my friends had just recently been broken up with, like, came out of a long relationship, and I posted one in her letterbox, and she literally sent me a voice message, like crying, being like, oh my god, I needed that, like, thank you so much. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes that bit of difference. Like, you don't necessarily need like a romantic partner for Valentine's, because you have your mates, male or female, like GALentines, but it doesn't matter. Like,
you can 100% have a best friend soulmate. That's what me and one of my best friends always say to each other. I sent her Valentine's Day presents. This is only the 2nd year in a row I've started it, but I'm going to continue doing it forever, because I genuinely do think you can have a best friend soulmate the same way you can have a romantic one. And it's important to cherish those relationships as well.
I think the best thing about Valentine's though for like single people is like cheap ice cream, like genuinely cheap chocolate. They're dead now, but I bought myself flowers the other day because I was like, I like those. I'm buying them for myself. Like,
yeah.
I just think just even little things like that, even with GALentines, if you can't see your friends or like they're not available to museum, buy yourself flowers and your favorite chocolates and like watch a movie or have a bath, whatever you enjoy, like, and celebrate like yourself, because you are just as important yourself as you are with a partner, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I even like, I'm in a relationship and I still bought loads of the ice cream and loads of the chocolate just because it was cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
why Tesco's after this, like.
Absolutely. And doing that like face mask for yourself. I'm gonna bake some like brownies.
Oh yeah,
baking is a big one for me. I'm just gonna eat the whole tin. I don't even care.
Good. As you should.
Put the whole like Ben and Jerry's ice cream on top of the tray of brownies and just eat it like that.
Oh, that sounds bliss. Oh my
God. I might do that tonight.
We're staying the 2 stone.
Yeah. The lockdown stone, we'll call it that. That's why I bought a bike in the first lockdown. Help me lose it.
I joined the gym in like July, and I did go frequently, and then sure the second lockdown happened and it closed, and I'm not great at working out because I was still kind of getting myself into it as well. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Lockdowns happened, and then when it opened, we were back to college. I was trying to fix my broken sleep schedule that's still broken. And it was just so dark and horrible that like I had one lecture that would finish at 6 o'clock and it'd be black outside, and I was like, I'm not walking to the gym.
That was the worst lecture ever. I loved the lecturer, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it ended at 6 o'clock while we were coming into winter with like seasonal affective disorder, couldn't deal.
And that was the only class I had that day, so it was like I couldn't do anything, but I was just like waiting.
Yeah.
It was horrible. But yeah, I never did that. So
that's why I'm taking such a special effort, since like my New Year's resolution this year was not anything groundbreaking, like I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do this much exercise. My New Year's resolution was to journal and to take care of myself. I now do like daily affirmations. So
yes, I do that too.
Yeah, really short ones, like really, really short ones. Like there's a song and I can't remember the name of it now, but
is it like I am healthy, I am wealthy, that one?
Is, and I just put that song on repeat sometimes when I'm cleaning my room. But I have like different like pages I follow on Instagram, and I'll see like a daily affirmation and I'll say it a few times. I'll light my incense, I'll have my crystals, and I'm, you know what, just manifesting it into the world that this is. So yeah, self-care is big this year now. So
self-care is just putting on fake tan, honestly. If you can't,
I haven't worn it since, I don't remember.
I didn't have it on for like a month, which was like the longest for me. But obviously it's so cold, so I'm just constantly like, this is the first time in weeks I'm not in like my big Udi. But it was just the other day, like the start of another week in college, and I was just like, it's time I started to come in, and I was like, I'm tanning. I'm not going to do my assignments. I'm covering myself in tan, like going into my sister like fully naked, just being like, tan my back. And anytime I tan my back, she's like, why? Like, where are you going? I'm like, just tan my back. I need to do it. Like, it's my new white bed. Like, don't ask questions, just do it.
I don't wear tan that often because I hate the process of like taking it off. But this weekend I'm not in work this week, so this week is like my self-care week, and then next week is reading week, so I'm only in work next week. I don't have any college, so these 2 weeks I'm trying to like do as many things as possible for myself that I can. So this weekend, you best believe I'm exfoliating everywhere, shaving everywhere, dousing myself in tan, and I'm just going to try and look the best that I can, just to give myself a bit of a pick-me-up. I haven't worn makeup since Christmas. So
Penny's closed there for this lockdown. I use the Bahama Body, which obviously you buy in Penny's. you can buy it online, but it's like an extra like €6 and then the delivery, like it's a joke. And I remember when the pennies was announced that they were closing with the lockdown, and me, like we were basically going into the apocalypse, and I was like, I need tan. And my friend, I couldn't go, my friend could, and she literally bought me, I didn't even ask her, she bought me 3 bottles of Ultra Dark. And then in the winter, I put them on for like Christmas and New Year's, just to kind of like, you know, feel a bit festive or whatever. But I have that much tan now that I haven't been using, that I'm conscious it's going to go off. So every now and again, I'm like, right, I have to put that tan on now because I don't want it to go to waste.
I got new tan for Christmas and I haven't even tried it yet. That's how bad I've been, because I only used to tan when I was going on a night out, because I don't feel like I need it. I don't feel like I'm that pale, so I don't feel like I need it otherwise. But now I'm like, it's just sitting there, and that's such a waste of a Christmas present. It's inexpensive. It's the Be a Belle one. It's really, really nice. So I might start making it part of my weekly self-care regime to tan myself up.
Even the like tan and moisturizers you get, they're so much easier as well, because if you just moisturize your body, you do get, I'm like that pale, I'm blue. So even if I don't have the energy to actually like exfoliate and all that crap, excuse me, the moisturizers are grand, because I usually after I shower put moisturizer on anyways, and it just gives you like a little bit of a color. It just makes me feel nicer. Like it's like having makeup on, or I don't know, curling your hair, or having your nails.
Everyone has different things that make them feel better, makes them feel more like like my big thing, and it's my big thing. I've made myself do it at the start of the year because I don't necessarily like doing it, and it's now become a thing that I actually really enjoy. But it's cleaning my room, and I don't just mean like cleaning like with a mop and stuff. I mean like decluttering and actually organization. I used to hate doing it, but I really enjoy it now, and it's become my biggest self-care tip is keep my room clean. And if I feel like something's getting on top of me, I'll actually look at my room and I'll be like, yeah, my room is messy. It's like a visual like of how my life is going.
You're so the same person, because I was only saying this morning to one of my mates. I was that person. My room was never like messy. Like it'd be untidy, but like it wasn't dirty. But I was literally coming home to sleep and going from work to college, so I was literally throwing pajamas on the floor and like not making my bed. Whereas now, especially with college, because I do college from my room like most of us with a desk and stuff, if my bed is not made, and I was never like that, my mom used to kill me for not making my bed. I can't sit and do a lecture, like I have to make my bed, even if it's just a case of literally shaking down the quilt and putting my pillow down and put my PJs away. I have to, and the same, I have to like declutter shelves. And like I got a new bed yesterday, and I washed my floors, hoovered before it went in, hoovered then afterwards. And again this morning I was just sitting there and I seen one bit of fluff and I was like, no, I have to hoover that, move the entire bed like around. I was like, no, I have to clean that, has to go. Where I was never like that before. I'd kind of would let my room get messy to the point where I was like, right, I need to clean this.
It's such a thing now though, because like your room is your safe space. Your room is like the space where I do my college work. I go to sleep here. I have my crystal altar. I have like 5 crystals really. I don't actually have that. But I have my little space where I have my like pictures on the wall, my plants and my crystals, my incense and everything. And I have like my books, my bookshelf space in my room. I have everything in my room. So I spend so much time in my room that I want it to be clean, and I want it to be like a very organized place. I'm going to spend so much time here. I don't want it to be messy. It's going to actually have a subconscious effect on me if it is messy. And that's just like the biggest self-care tip I've realized since lockdown and corona, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. Isn't there's like a phrase that's like clean space, clean mind?
Yeah. I 100% agree with it as well.
Because I didn't realize until coming into more so even the second lockdown, when it was like we realized it wasn't a 2-week holiday. I'm really affected by environment. So when we could actually go into the library, I was that person that would go to class or whatever. If I'd worked out, I'd sit in the library, even if it was for 2 hours, and I just sorted stuff out, because then I associated with the library with working, and then I could come home and just chill out and not feel guilty for being at home and not doing something. Whereas now I find it's still like, after we're doing this almost a year, to associate my room with college work and trying to like, I can't explain it. I'm so organized, but I'm the biggest procrastinator going. Like I bullet journal. That's another thing I love doing, is bullet journaling. But like, I still do everything the night before. Like I don't know why, but I had to kind of get myself into like, okay, you have to do your work now and have your room clean. Whereas before, I would go to the library and like my room was literally me coming home to sleep and relax and change for work or college or whatever it was. And then I'd go to work, I'd go to college, I'd go see my friends somewhere, and then my room was mine. where now it's like everything happens here. Like college, if I have something, not that I have, but like if I had something at work or seeing friends, it's all here. So you kind of need to just like be yourself, like just concentrate on it, because it just helps you so much with anything, I find anyways.
Mine was the same issue except backwards, where I would be in my room and it would be late at night, I need to go to sleep, but I'm looking at my laptop on my desk and I'm like, oh, I need to do study notes, and because it's in my room looking at me, it's not in a rucksack bag that I'm going to be bringing to college the next day and popping into the library. It's literally all sitting out on my desk and I'm looking at it going, oh, I'll just do some more, and I'd be doing stuff, but because I'm like tired and I'm doing it so often, it would be really broken and none of it would be productive. And a lot of the time I'd be on my phone, like getting distracted as well while I'm trying to do the college work. And then I'm associating my room with like a bad place because I'm stressed out about college. So mine was like the opposite problem, but I've kind of gotten over it now. I don't know how, just kind of got over it somehow. Got used to it, I think, which is sad, but got used to all the corona now, really, haven't we?
Yeah, sadly.
I'm going to have my second lockdown birthday.
Same. I turned 18 in the first lockdown, so.
I remember the first lockdown up here, like they announced we were going into lockdown on the 12th of March, which is my like actual birthday. But I was meant to go to London with friends. That didn't happen. So we went to Belfast because you could still kind of travel then. And I remember it was my birthday. I remember this so well. I remember being in a changing room in Primark, trying on something, getting an email from my advertising lecturer saying that our exam was now an essay. And I remember being like, what? And then my dad rang me. So I thought he was just going to be wishing me happy birthday. And he was like, you need to come home now. Like, this was back when the WhatsApp messages were saying like, the police, like the army's going to be out on the streets and all that kind of thing. So my dad was like, you need to come out. And I was like, what's going on? Because I wasn't on my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, my friends were meant to go out that weekend when we came back down, like home to Dublin, and we couldn't, like, we were able to have something in my kitchen. But now everyone's like, because this time last year, people of January to like early March babies weren't affected, and they're all like, lockdown birthday. I'm like, I am the lockdown birthday.
Yeah.
Like the OG. And everyone's like, ew, I hate March 12th. I'm like, thanks everyone. Thanks guys.
Yeah, I had my 21st August. That was fun. I had a big like thing planned in Trinity Bar, like an actual 21st in an actual venue. And I had like a dress. I bought the dress months in advance. I bought the dress in like February. So before coronavirus was even a thing. And you best believe I had a little party in my house and I wore that dress. Like the long, it's like a Deb's dress. It's like a full length dress and it's hot pink with a big slit up and everything. I wore it. I didn't care.
My sister's 21 in like 2 weeks, and obviously we can't do anything. But the other day she was like, oh, I might order this like for my 21st. My mom was like, why? We're only sitting in the kitchen. And I was like, you put on my phone, she bought nails today. I was like, you do everything. Like,
do what you need to make you feel better.
Yeah, I was like, you might be able to have like a 21st, but like you can still get the Instagram pics in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Your photographer sister. Like,
my biggest lockdown tip is do whatever you need to make yourself feel happier. Yeah. Whatever that, except for not wearing masks and breaking COVID rules. Don't do that. But like, if you want to just wake up every day, do it. If you want to wear the same pajamas for 4 days in a row, do it. No one's judging.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The same pair of pajamas.
Yeah.
Every lecture I wake up in the morning and just put on a sweatshirt and then I'm in my pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
I've just given up. I'm just like, I can't do anymore.
My mom
at the start of semester when I was flipping eat and put on even leggings, like just, get changed and have something to eat and blah blah blah. There was, embarrassingly enough, there's been more Zoom lectures I've had in the AM where I haven't brushed my teeth than I have brushed teeth, because I've literally woken up like 10 to 9 and just turned on my laptop and I'm like,
yeah,
sculling a coffee. Like, that's the only thing I can function to do.
At least they can't smell your breath. That's the good thing. You can kind of sit back. Hopefully they can't see your teeth. You're like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to speak anyway because there's
I did it once. I logged on and like muted myself and switched off the camera. So I was like, just brush my teeth. And I was standing outside listening, and I have an electric toothbrush, and of course they started calling on me, and I was like, mouth full of toothpaste. So that's just why I don't do it now. Like, if I wake up on time, I will obviously brush my teeth. I am not pig. I brush them afterwards. But in the lecture, I'm just so paranoid that they're going to call me and I'm going to have like toothpaste literally all over my mouth and in my mouth. It's like, that's happening.
Oh, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Well, that's a great place to finish off the episode. That was some great self-care tips. Be there for your gals and make sure you come to our event that's happening the day after. I hope you're listening to this on the day it comes out. It actually comes out on Valentine's Day. So and our event is on the 15th. So please come over. It is a really fun time. Thank you, girls, for coming on. And
thank you.
I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.